I'm really excited to hear about your journey. But first of all, I mean, you've made 3 EPs in the past 3 years. You have been busy.
Yeah.
So, how did this journey start for you, and what's the ride been like so far?
Funny you asked that because like my mom was actually saying the other day, like, I have no idea where you got your work ethic and where you got like the resilience from. Because for some reason, since I was younger, like I knew this was the one thing that I was gonna that my only thing that I could do pretty much was music. So she always just let me do it. She didn't like stop me or anything. And I think for me, like it was just a thing I had to do, you know? It's been very hard. I've moved to many different countries and, you know, for the first time I moved to the US, I couldn't speak English, but I was so like I really wanted to make it happen for myself. So I learned how to speak English. Would I would write songs even when I didn't know, but like I knew the words like blue, clue, and I would like write a song about, you know what I mean? And it's really funny because like my teachers would be like my songwriting teachers that I would like be really close to, they would say like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but it still works. So kind of that's where it started. That's why I'm kind of more like melody driven than, well, now I'm more lyrically, but at the time more melodically.
I mean, did you ever feel pushed and pulled, in different directions during that time? And if so, how is your new EP, Sylvia, a response to that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think I had a lot of pressure on me because there's just many reasons. I don't even know if I can talk about them, but I just needed to make this next EP work in some way. And I remember telling myself, like, you know, I'm gonna make this so me that either people are gonna hate it or love it, and that's okay. I really leaned into like what was really going on for me. Like, for example, Midnight Freakout is about me coming to the US and not really even being able to go to sleep and feeling really, really, really alone at night. And that's where the song came to. And this other one called Easy that's coming. Like, I didn't have a house for months, and I was just so anxious in that time. And I was asking for help and there was no help to be had. And, at the same time, I had to give in this project and I was so much anxiousness. And in this time, I remember trying to think like, who can I look up to? Like, I don't have, like, I don't know what to do about this. And for some reason, so my great grandmother is called Silvia and they called her La Reina del Tamborito in Panama. So it's like she would make music and she was very like fierce and very like doing whatever she wanted. And it was kind of scandalous, but she was so talented and she was able to carry herself so well and do so many things. And for me, she just looked like such a strong character and that I never really understood. So I kind of would rely on the thought of her. And I was like, she was able to do it and she's able to create and probably was way worse in her time. You know what I mean? It was like, not that it's bad now, but like, it was just like a hard time, moving to a new country, like trying new things. So that's where the title comes in. And, that's what's different about this EP. It's like I try to heavily inspire on whatever was going on in this moment and trying to go back to like my roots as much as possible.
What's the process like? I mean, when you are going through something so deep in your personal life, and then you're translating that into music that, the world is going to hear. What is that experience like?
It's kind of weird because I've tried now to write songs like coming from like, oh, this is just for me, and I'm trying to be really honest and trying to for me to love it first. I think if I think too much that it will go out to other people, like I will literally block, like I will be like, oh my God, what they're gonna think. Like that's something that I think it's important, like in writing and yeah, writing this specifically too.
So Michael Uzuburu is, talented producer, worked on albums with Rosalia, SZA. I mean, how did you even get that creative partnership to begin?
Yeah, Michael's the best. He kind of heard this one song of mine called Little Did I Know. and he really, really loved it. He actually still has it saved in one of his playlists, and that like gives me like it makes me so happy that he does, because
That's
you
so
know I
cool.
look up to him so much. And yeah, he was just very like, he's so inspiring as a person. He's so like honest, and he's someone that has so much integrity in what he does. And he kind of like helped me be comfortable with myself and with my voice and with my story. And you know, he gave me so much patience and time for me to be able to create all of this that I you know that we've done together. But yeah, he's awesome. I'm so grateful that he's part of the project.
You mentioned your great grandmother, Sylvia. She's the inspiration for your latest EP. So, was there anything in her music that influenced your music now?
A little bit. There's like this, like I don't know how to explain it. Like she would be so like out of nowhere, she'll just like add this like drums, or out of nowhere, she'll just start like doing this really weird melody where she's like kind of screaming. And I just felt like it was fun. And I was like, oh, like, you know, I just wanted to be open to anything. And we tried a couple of things, and then we ended up with like the single Sylvia. And that's pretty much like her story, you know, but also not only her story, but my other grandparents' story, but all merged in one.
With Sylvia, were there any additional producers and songwriters that helped you bring that song to life?
Oh my God, yeah. So it's so many people. Like even thinking about it, I'm like, oh, wait, who was in this song? It was Michael, me, then Alex Goose, which he had the sample of the song, and that's kind of where it started. We started in his house. Diana Gordon. I went to her house, and we just started writing the storyline of her together. And how we came up with the melodies, we were like singing, and we were doing like you just we were doing really weird things, and honestly things that I would feel really uncomfortable like singing out loud. And we got the entire skeleton of the song without the lyrics. And then yeah, I went to her house, and then we were trying to find the story and the things about her that I find like are so mystical, and you know, where she was from, where, you know, her story. And she also kind of made me really be like, you know, this is where you're from. This is your, you know, this is your grandmother. Like, you know, she was so powerful. And yeah, we wanted to really like talk about that.
And then let's talk about Midnight Freakout. I mean, that's your first single from the EP. What is it about this track that makes it a great introduction to the record?
Honestly, I have no idea, but I love the song so much, and everyone seemed to be really drawn to it. Also, story wise, it is kind of the beginning of the story, you know, of how I even got to look up to Sylvia in this time, and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling for the rest of the other 5 songs, you know. So story wise, it starts at Midnight Freakout, you know, starts me coming here, trying to figure it out, not fitting in, feeling really lonely, finding comfort in people that I shouldn't probably have gone to, experiencing, you know, being completely alone in a place that you don't know anyone really. You know, I miss a lot my mom, my sister, and relationships that I used to have that I don't have anymore, or for just from growing up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just like the first chapter of the book, let's say.
Is that how you kind of created the album? It's like a, story.
It kind of was, but it was more like, because I was writing it exactly what was going on, like step by step.
Yeah.
It kind of ended up being kind of like a story, because yeah, like last year was so crazy for me, and every song like talks about a very specific time in my life, you know.
Let's talk about the music video, because I mean that I was like, it almost makes you want to like hold your breath as you're watching it too.
Oh my God.
What was that experience like filming it? What inspired it? I want to hear all about it.
This is gonna sound super dramatic, but for me, like when we wanted to do the visualizer, I was like, we were talking about like, what did we want to make the person feel? Like, what did I feel? Or what did I want other people to feel? And like, for me, like the song also kind of felt like, again, this is gonna sound very dramatic, but like someone trying to go to the surface and take a breath and not being able to. Like, I just wanted to like just chill, you know what I mean? And it was a time where I couldn't. I felt like I was in this state where I couldn't go out to take the breath, but also like I had to be so calm and I was so confused and there's so many things. Yeah, so we did like a 7-hour shoot with all my friends and we shot underwater and I honestly like I have no idea how I was able to do it. We joked that I pretty much could have died in that shoot because like I was at time I was in there for 2 minutes and I've
Wow.
never done that. We were laughing that I should have been in the Avatar movie. Because I was holding my breath for so long. I grew up swimming so much because of where I'm from. Like I'm from Panama, so we were always like by the beach and in the water, but I didn't know I could hold my breath for that long. But there were times where I would like go up and I was like, like kind of like, and everyone was like, "Are you okay?" But I mean, everything we'll do anything for the art, and it turned out super beautiful. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, no, I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, I don't think I could hold my breath. Like, I mean, obviously not there for the entire duration of the video, but I was just like, whoa, like it definitely brought you in. So no,
Yeah.
kudos to you guys for
And
making
I
it.
definitely wanted it to feel long, like the scenes underwater. You're like, is she coming out of the water? I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm still swimming because that's kind of how I felt at the time as well. It was just like, also we wanted to commit to it. We were like, you're literally just swimming for 3 minutes straight and floating. I was like, yeah, that's what we were doing.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was so very, very good. I mean, so cool. Easy. Let's talk about Easy, another stirring track. I mean, tell me about how you channeled some of your, personal frustrations into that song.
Yeah, I think in that song I just like said it how it was like in the moment, but the person that I wrote the song about also knows it and he was so mad at me, but it was so funny. It was a time where again what I was saying, like I didn't have where to stay. I was kind of like floating around LA and staying in my friends' houses and because I don't have credit here because I'm not from here, it was literally impossible to get a house. So I was being denied from everywhere and I was asking for help from people to like, help me like stay with them or if they could help me like if they knew someone that they could lease an apartment to me, or whatever. And, you know, when that moment came, it was just like there was like the people that I thought would be there for me like weren't like very close people too, which was a very hurtful time. But that's where the song kind of was born. I was just like it like encapsulates the entire time because I was running from place to place. I just had like 4 trash bags full of clothes and I would just like run around like all over. But yeah, like making that song and not only that song, but this EP and the rest stuff that was also to come, like it was very, very hard and it was in a very strange time in my life. But I'm very happy that, I that's like in the past now and now I have all these things that I can talk about and I was able to take all my frustration and put it into art and create something really beautiful
Yeah.
that I loved very much. So
So you play the guitar, and so tell me about the first time you picked up the guitar.
I was really, really bad student in school, horrible student. And my mom, she took me to the doctor, and the doctor was like, okay, well, you need to try and put her in like other classes. Also, I was very hyperactive. So she was like, put him in gymnastics and you should try like music instruments and see what happens. And she was like, okay, I'll put her in guitar classes. And I went into guitar classes and there were like 5 other boys there that had been there for really like a few months. And I went in and the moment that I remember like I grabbed the guitar and I started playing it, like I was like at the level of the other boys, but it like super quickly because they were also new, but I was just like I understood it very well. Like I was able to understand it or play it very quickly and that for me had never been like a thing because I was a terrible student, like I was bad at everything, so whatever, like so I then like kind of realized I could sing and then I started singing and playing and I fell in love with it and my teacher Jorleni, she was like the sweetest and I think it's so important to have like a teacher that lets you be yourself and lets you fall in love with the instrument, you know, because for example, like piano, like I can play piano, but I hated my teachers. So I just like had this like thing for the piano. I was like, I don't like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's where my love for playing the guitar kind of started. I
Yeah.
unfortunately like left it for a little bit, but I'm trying to like retake it because of in the pandemic, I was living in England and I had my guitar and I thought the pandemic was going to be a week because we didn't know what it was, right? And I left my guitar in England for like over 2 years and I didn't have a guitar for a long time.
Oh.
But then I bought a guitar, a new guitar, and I would like use my friends and whatever. So yeah, I would say that's like my number one tool for writing.
Let's talk about some of the other big names that helped create this project. You know, you worked with Tyler Johnson, who worked with Harry Styles and Miley Cyrus, Carter Lang, who worked with SZA, John Hill, who worked with Florence and the Machine. Just those are just a few of them. So what kind of wisdom or inspiration did you gain from those musical collaborations?
I think mainly they were just very like trust yourself. You have to just trust yourself more. They're really kind people too. Like, you know, it's really fascinating to me. Like, you know, you look up to these people for so long and then you meet them and you don't know what you're gonna get and then they're super sweet and you're like, oh wow. But they were just very like they wanted me to make decisions for myself and for the music. They were very like, what do you want? Like, who is Sophia? Like, let's understand that. And like they made me feel so comfortable. I think that was the entire thing that they were all trying to get to, is like for me to feel really comfortable enough to really be myself, to get something that is me and, you know, and it's original. I think all of these people that, you know, or hairstyles or SZA or, you know, all these people that I've worked with them, like the thing about them that makes them so amazing is just like there's only one of them, you know, because it's just them. They helped me so much with my self-esteem, to be honest, in that way, because they trusted me.
Yeah.
So that was really big for me.
So what are you most excited for fans to hear on this newest EP?
I'm excited for all of it. Like I really love all the songs and they're all so special to me. There's this one called Wild in it, and making it was so crazy because I it was like it took so long, but also it was like it was so worth it that it took so long to make. And Dylan Wiggins is playing drums in it, and also he kind of did the track with us as well. But it was supposed to be like a very very slow song and very beautiful like slow song, and then Michael was like, actually, like, Dylan, play the drums, like play them, but like really like go for it. And he just starts like going crazy on the drums of a very slow song. And I'm just like, and I'm not like, sometimes I'm like, why do I like music? Like, I don't know why I like music, right? And then there's like little moments that happen every like 3 years or 2 years. And I'm like, oh, that's why I love music. Like, I understand again. You know what I mean? And in that moment, like hearing him play the drums with the track, like live, was like so emotional for me. Like, I was like,
So
want
cool.
to cry. Like it was so much. So that's probably like one of my favorite tracks.
It's so good. It's so cool. I'm like, I can't wait to hear the whole thing, you know? But let's also talk about what the future holds for Sofía Valdés.
Hopefully touring. I would love to like, you know, do more shows and open for people that I like really look up to. But yeah, this is, I don't even know if I should be announcing it yet, but it's an album coming out and this is the first part of it. So we decided to break it into EPs, but I'm just excited for the entirety of the project to be out. So this is just like the first half of it, and I'm so excited for the rest as well. And I hope everyone else is as well. And yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sofía, thank you so much for your time and safe travels back home. And yeah, I can't wait
No,
to see what the future has in store for you.
thank you. And thank you so much for having me.